Hey everybody, it's Alexis. I am back with a brand new video. Happy Monday. Thank you for being here. Today, you guys, let's talk about tips and tricks to manifest the version of your SP that you're creating. What to do also if you feel like you're not getting any movement of any sort. What to do and what's my best advice. If you begin thinking the thoughts and telling yourself the story that it's taken too long, it is taking too long, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What do we do about all of that? And what is reality creation really all about? This video is also really about how to identify if all along the way in your manifestation journey, have you been in the lack of the manifestation? All right. So before I get started, the links for booking one-on-one coaching, one-on-one hypnosis, the links for all of my pre-recorded hypnosis audios are in the box below. For some reason, you guys, I also feel like I should do a refresher about me. If you are new to the channel, if you're new to my videos, my name is Alexis. I'm a coach here at Create Your Future. I am a trained coach in neuro-linguistic programming, which is alternative psychology, as well as a trained clinical hypnotherapist. So I bring a lot of my background about subconscious psychology, if you will, reality creation, and all of it to help you manifest your ideal relationship, the dream relationship, and how to really fully understand the tools of reality creation and how they apply to people. Okay. So yes, hello, welcome if you're new. In any event, let's get on with the video and let's talk about these key topics, right? Because I want to say too, the thing is this is a really important thing to understand about as you're creating reality and as you're changing things or attempting to in your outer 3D reality. We never want to have the catchphrase of it's taking too long. This isn't working for me. Is this possible? I've actually heard that from a number of people this week. Okay. Now, these ideas and these thoughts, you guys, your thoughts create, your thoughts are things, your thoughts transmit to your reality. If you are thinking these things into perpetuity, then all the other affirmations or things that you're doing are being canceled out by these thoughts. So we need to figure out a way to not be thinking this. Now, the thing is this. You're perhaps thinking this as an offshoot of what's going on out there that's in contrast to what's going on in here, right? So you're understanding at this point that your inner reality creates and affects the outer reality. So because you've taken up this concept, right? You've delved deep into yourself, done a lot of investigating, you have affirmations, you've done things, you've got things going on to change the inner reality, right? Version of the person you want, version of the person that you want you to be ideally in a relationship. Also, if you're new to my videos, these are concepts I'm breezing over because they're in all of the videos that are, or a lot of the videos on our playlist. I've got over 200 videos about relationships on our playlist. On our playlists under Alexis, you can access those, okay? But say like you're doing all this stuff. Let's just say you've been watching videos for a while. Let's say you've done some coaching. Let's say you kind of think you get this. And then along the way, you just think nothing is happening, right? Now, number one, most of us, especially people that are smart, analytical, doers in life, they tend to overthink the reality creation process as a whole. And they tend to make this a lot harder on themselves than they need to. I know that first in my journey of conscious creation, when I first really got a hold of this kind of material, understood it, I did some of the same things. So I get it, but you just don't want to stay there for too long. This is the thing, you guys, to see consistent movement and change with your SP, to finally be in the committed relationship that you're creating within. It takes persistency, consistency, and diligence. So what you do not want to do is let's say you get on the positive thought about it. Okay. Let's say you're thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to go all in with this. I'm going to just think he's so into me. He loves me. He's calling me. He's texting me. He forgives me. We're back together better than ever. I am the one who is loved and adored. I am safe and secure in my relationship. I'm finally safe to explore and feel and experience love with him. Let's say you do that, right? And then let's say you do that. And then a week later, he unfollows you on Instagram, something that looks like the complete opposite, like reality's flipped itself on its head. Guess what? This is good news. This is a mistake that most people make. Now, why wouldn't you? Because it looks like to us, oh, unfollowed, that means et cetera, et cetera. You guys, all news is good news. It's like all press is good press, right? There is no such thing as bad news in terms of creation. Whatever you see, you want to learn to not allow to dictate and change what you're doing in here. You do not want to think, I'm doing something wrong. This isn't working because of X, Y, and Z. Absolutely not. No, we want to come back to the principles. The people that have been success stories, like today, I'm going to share one, who are consistent, persistent, diligent. They're just like, oh, whatever. No big deal, unfollowed. They're not like this. Oh my God, all the way back to the drawing board. Let me watch 20 million videos on YouTube. Let me refine my affirmations. I've done something wrong. I never get any movement. I never get any change. No, I'll actually tell you that a lot of people that have done one-on-one coaching with me over the time that we've worked together, a lot of times when there's big change, something happens in the 3D that's the opposite. I have sometimes called this the twilight zone. I've sometimes termed this as reality's flipping on its head. It really doesn't matter. There was some phrase that somebody told me, a client said at some point, that was another analytical viewpoint about reality flipping, changing, the opposite happens. You guys, everybody is getting way too caught up in analytical information to understand this. Embrace the idea of just not taking it seriously. That's not analytical. It's not logical. It's not linear. It's more like a lackadaisical attitude that's like, oh, no big deal. You blocked me. No big deal. This is how you can be unbothered and unaffected and stop reacting to your 3D reality. This is the other thing. Apparently, everybody needs some kind of kick in the pants today because I'm in a sassy mood and I'm going to give it to you. Who manifested this version of me? Okay. So, what you don't want to do is be so like, people are you guys, a lot of people who I speak to, and they go through periods of this and then they come back to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to stop doing that, are oversaturating their minds with information about conscious creation and relationship. And they're just not doing the basic principles then. People are also watching videos and getting freaked out about whatever they see in a video. Okay. So don't do any of that, you guys. Be more relaxed. Consciously create from the idea of being, it's not lazy. It's just like, hey, I'm not going to use my thoughts to get all wrapped up in, you unfollowed me. You're not looking at me. You blocked me. So then I'm going to take that so seriously. I'm going to then think, oh my God, you blocked me. Something is wrong. I did something wrong. Let me refine everything. And then you see inherently when you do that, what are you doing? You're reacting to your person. You're reacting to your 3D. Even though you are not doing anything, I'll bet a lot of people out there here don't react. And they're like, okay, well, I didn't send them a DM. I didn't call them. I didn't text them. I didn't go over to his house and knock on the door. Okay. Okay, great. But you don't want to react within. Remember, your inner reality is the place that creates anyways. So if you're not reacting out here, but you're reacting in here, it's almost like it's worse. Okay. So what's the answer is do none of that. Stay on the intentions of the reality that you're creating. Also, the thing here is if you tend to do this kind of thing and then you're illustrating in your mind, I've done X, Y, and Z for so long. This has taken such a long time, yada, 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 yada. You guys, this is like, I get it. I get it that you really want, right? Almost have a need to be with your person now. But you guys, that's not the place to be in either, right? We have been very misled and lied to in our 3D experience by so many things about true love, relationships, and being in them right now, okay? Being in them now needs to be from the place of, I'm in it now, I have it now, I'm enough, I'm worthy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Guess what? Yeah, he's totally into commitment. He totally loves me. I'm going to take a pause. Now, I said all that. Let's say that he blocks you. You're like this. Oh yeah, know what? No big deal. Go have a Mai Tai. It's summer. If you're a drinker, right? Go have a Mai Tai. Go have a pina colada. Have a good time. Take it less seriously. The other thing I want to say too in this video is that I have a wonderful, beautiful, lovely client of mine. Okay. Actually, a couple clients of mine who, over the time that they've coached with me, have come to session and said, okay, Alexis, I figured it out. I've got a list of my limiting beliefs and I've got it. I've figured it out. So then they spend time going into it. Now, I allow you to do this because yes, we know that we have limitations in the subconscious mind until maybe you take it too far. Okay. And then I will tell you, listen, you got to stop looking for a problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay. If you are someone who's come to conscious creation and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, trying to figure out the problem, trying to let go and figure out like, what's that one limiting belief I have? What's that thing? Don't do that either. Okay. Right. So the thing is this, you guys, all of that is being based is all of these things I've already said as examples are based upon there's a big problem, there's a big issue, there's a big block, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the thing is this, the version of you that is worthy enough and loved and loves herself and is loved by others, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, himself, whatever, does not have those limitations. That's the funny thing about versions of you and versions of your person, that the limitations from that version of you do not exist. That's why it's the primary thing. The primary thing to do is number one, in your daily life, feel good, be relaxed, do things, engage in activities where you are forced to be in a feel-good place. Watch your favorite TV shows, listen to your favorite music, wear your favorite clothes, do creative activities, do lots of things for you that have you focused on you in a great way. Now, why is this necessary? Because when you're feeling good, feeling better, more optimistic just about life and living in general, then you're much less likely to spiral and overthink your SP, aren't you? And in fact, if you're in a relationship where things have looked like they've gone south, it probably is because something happened within you about you anyways, okay? So number one, make yourself the priority once and for all, you guys. Your SP is not the priority. They are not, you are never going to create lasting love, consistent love with them when they're on an energetic pedestal, or you're overthinking them, or you're in the lack of love about them. Okay. So I said in the beginning of the video, how do you know you're in the lack of it? It's if you constantly feel like it's not here, you're spinning your wheels to make it happen, doing your affirmations to make it happen, and then coming back to, yeah, but it's not here. Okay. So instead of doing that, what do you got to do? You got to shift yourself over to what you want about you, about topics, about love, and about things. And then through the process, include them into it. Okay. You've got to be the version of you who is loved, adored, wanted, where everything is working out. You've got it. You got the relationship. You've got the things. You see it's here. Now, all throughout the day, you need to be aware too, it's a human component. We go from what we don't want to what we want. Okay. The thing is this, if you are taking information from your 3D reality and then creating and affirming what you want, my question is this, is that really what you want? Or is it just thought creation based upon what is? You guys, this is the thing. Everything in your 3D reality that you're currently seeing, it's already happened. It's already been created. It's already been manifested. So looking out here like, oh, okay, he's like this, so maybe I'm going to create him like this. I'm going to think of him this way. Absolutely not. You want to get clear on who do you want him to be? Now, who he's showing up as can give you some clues into like, who's my ideal person? Who would I really want them to be? Like, let's say that they're, let's see. Emotionally distant, right? Let's say that he or she is emotionally distant, non-emotional, not involved in you, right? So that would say, okay, so somehow, some way I created this, but like, who do I really want someone to be, right? I want someone to be present, stable, secure within themselves, a great conversationist, having a good time in their own life, and that their emotions are totally available, but that they're just in the moment with me. You see how that's a little bit of using the information to get what you want. Now, you don't even have to do that. Remember, your story about what you're telling is the most important thing. So you can go and create your story based upon you is the best way to look at this. Instead of, oh, I see on Instagram that, perfect couples are like this, or I see this couple, I want to be like that. How do I create that? Yada, yada, yada. That's all stuff based upon your 3D reality. Okay. Now, what you want to do is take some time with this. Okay. So also, if you're telling yourself it's been too long, too much time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, this is a lifelong thing, you guys. It's not like, you get the SP, you manifest them, and then we're done. This is deep excavation work about self and about learning how reality works, which is that everything comes from you. Thoughts about you, thoughts about them create their relationship out there. Now, I want to say too, as a disclaimer, I am not saying that everything comes from you, like you are purposefully, consciously manifesting, the death and loss of people or something that drastic. This video is not about that. I am just saying this is about relationships and love. Okay. So you guys get this? You get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? I'm going to get to the success story. I have gone off on a tangent that I'm very happy about. Okay. So this client of mine actually is a great one for the success story because she had done a lot of these things. She had oftentimes, session after session, she would come back and say, okay, you know what? I had to refine things. And she would say to me, you know, and I accept everybody with love and non-judgment, right? She'd say, I didn't like her affirmations. I added a bunch more, but I think I have too many. Now this would happen, you guys, over and over and over again until I really asked her, okay, you know what? We've done this a bunch of times. Can you please just tell me outside the affirmations, what's the true desire with him? What's the true desire that you have within you about this whole scenario? Right. And actually the things that she told me had nothing to do with the affirmations she had written down. Okay. So at any moment, you are free and clear to refine and redefine your story, but you really want to start understanding these basic principles, right? That you still need to be persistent, consistent, and diligent. So listen, like, let's say you are thinking the story, you're thinking thoughts, you're changing your thoughts, you're feeling good, you're doing all these things like, Alexis, I'm feeling so great. I've been shopping for myself. I'm signing up for a new course. I'm starting a new strength training program. I've changed my diet. I have a whole new wardrobe. I'm doing a glow up. And then he blocked me. Okay, you guys, what do you know what I'm going to say is that you got to keep doing what you're doing. And you might want to add in the thought of I'm always unblocked or we're always communicating. You don't need to, though. What you need to know is that we're still not going to change what we're doing based upon the outer reality. Okay. You have to be persistent, consistent, and diligent no matter what's happening. So you find out information that SP is got something going on. Let's say you haven't talked to the guy in a year. Now you find out he's in a new relationship or something. Doesn't matter. You got to really get back to I'm being consistent and diligent and persistent. And it's got to be enough of the time, or you have to set enough of the time a day to think these thoughts. It can't just be willy-nilly. The thing I don't approve of is this. Whenever you think about him, you change your thoughts. That's not enough. And that's also like letting your mind trigger your conscious creation. Like when you think about him, when he happens to come to mind, you got to get a hold of your mind first and foremost. You guys, your mind is your friend. But your mind is only going to repeat like a record player what it knows. It finds safety, security, and stability and sameness in the version of him that you don't like. Just accept it. Your mind has no idea. It doesn't know right from wrong. It doesn't know healthy from unhealthy. It just feeds you thoughts of what you fed to yourself like a feedback loop. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me find... All right, here we go. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for all of your advice and for the coaching. And I am so happy that I found you and found Create Your Future. I now realize that I was the one who was always getting in my way, and that all of the thoughts and all of the ideas and all the perceptions that I had about consciously creating my relationship before I came to you for coaching were really getting in my way. I had watched so many videos, and I'm very DIY and I'm a very private person. So I really tried to do this on my own. I now realize that doing it on my own, I had wasted time. I hadn't really figured things out. I wasn't even most of the time on the appropriate affirmations, ... Do you remember the time that you asked me to put aside all the affirmations and just tell me my focus on the desired relationship, the desired reality with him? Well, ever since then, that's been a huge game changer. I can honestly say, and I want to tell everyone, that at first I had to have a list of affirmations, a list of what to focus on. But as time grew on and I had that list and I memorized the list, I actually needed the list less and less. I began to realize that I was creating my reality moment to moment, and that at first I had to have the list because I really had so much anxiety, fear, and worry about this whole thing. I now know that so many of my projections and my creations of my SP had to do with projections and creations of my first relationship, perhaps some of my father, perhaps some of my mother, and other people that I had known along the way who had greatly affected me and taken me off course with my own self-concept. I have now completely turned myself around, turned the relationship around, and I can say that the biggest lesson and the biggest thing that I have from it all is self-love, self-actualization, self-value. And finally, what I wanted all along was self-acceptance no matter what. I have learned to come back to my thoughts, but also to make myself a priority, to feel good during the day, and then from that place to do my affirmations. All along, I was kind of doing this the opposite way. I was feeling so bad and then doing my list of affirmations, I was feeling worse and spiraling and then trying to do my affirmations. And now I realized that none of that was helping because I was always focusing on what I didn't want anyways. Alexis helped me define and understand how to appropriately structure my day with the plan that I could actually stick to. And I also felt like she always had my back, so I wasn't doing it alone. All along when I was trying to do this alone, I now realize that it felt very lonely. And I always, even knowing Alexis was there kind of in the background and that I had a session coming up with her, gave me an immense sense of security. Okay. So now she goes into some personal things I'm going to leave out. And then fast forward to now, and my SP had previously been a non-emotional person. And now, just a second, just some personal things. She asked me if I could read through this and take stuff out. Non-emotional person. And even when we had tried, because they tried going to a therapist, they aren't even married, but they tried going to a therapist. She had told me that he was avoidant and that it was never going to work for us. Geez, what a side note, Debbie Downer, right? I now realize that I created it all, but that now he is learning and showing me that he is forthcoming. He is, as Alexis says, romantically demonstrative. She puts that in quotations. And we are really working through our bigger issues, talking about everything, finding solutions together. And I feel like he too is always there for me. Wink, wink. Thank you so much, Alexis. And I can't wait to see you in our next session. Feel free to share this, but take out things. Big hugs, XO. All right, you guys. So what lesson do we get from that, right? Now, the thing that I want to point out too is that these are blue light, not reading glasses, just saying. I don't know why I don't use them. And I think because when I'm recording the video, it's not as bright. And when I go to read the story, it's bright, like in my email. In any event, you guys, what a beautiful way that she has said that she could self-actualize and figure herself out, right? And I want to say too, she never gave up. She had so many instances where it looked like the opposite was happening. Also, when she really began to reframe the version of him, right, that she had this whole story that was also upheld by, you know, God bless our psychologists and therapists. I'm a hypnotherapist, but this person, whoever this was, had said to her this thing about him being avoidant and it was never going to happen. And that had really, really stuck with her. Okay. Unfortunately, whenever she would say that phrase, she would get really teary and tearful. It's like when clients I've had have heard something from a psychic, someone that they see as an expert, their subconscious mind is open and then they're fairly influenced by. So if this is you, you can take time to reframe it. I gave her specific intentions about that scenario and I had her reiterate even new thoughts about that experience with the therapist. And it was less and less of an issue. Okay. But she really had, because of so many things, reiterated the version of him as being avoidant, not forthcoming, closed off, didn't like to share. And then she had read a bunch of things like a lot of people do, a lot of us do in the 3D about men, women, etc. None of it really helped her create, but she was still really trying. Okay. So we had to redefine the version of him. And that's also the missing component that I see with so many of my one-on-one clients. And it takes a lot of practice and diligent deep diving into yourself and really getting granular about the person that's in your reality, right? So in her case, classically, I see this a lot. People come to me and they're like, all right, I watch your videos. I've got affirmations. He's calling, he's texting, he's this, he's this, he's this. And I ask the questions like, well, is he in love with you? Is he even into you? Well, yes, he is, but he won't tell me. Well, if he is, but he won't tell you, why is that? And it often leads to things like this client had said. He's not demonstrative. He's closed off. He's not emotional. Oh, he hasn't healed from his past. He has childhood wounds. He has childhood trauma, all these things. So we really had to redefine and rethink and refocus on the version of him. And an easy way that you can begin to do this with your SP is either focusing on the version of them that you met that had aspects, or making yourself focus on things about them that you like. Even if they're doing 10 things you don't like, focusing on things you like. If that feels too difficult, focus on who you want your perfect person to be, and then mold in your mind that that's your SP. You see, remember, all of us exist within you. The people in your reality and how they show up, their personality traits, how they are being towards you is held in place by your thoughts. Also, a way to look at this, you guys, is that when you're thinking he's not this, he's this, he's not this, you are like post-it onto him that he's obligated, therefore, to be closed off, non-demonstrative, blah, blah. Now, what she would do too is when they were together, what would she do? She would do a lot of things. She would do a lot of talking. She would kind of go she would be super extra, right? The whole time also because she felt uncomfortable because he wouldn't be saying anything. So she had to go through periods of time with him where she was learning to not do that within herself, about herself, as she redefined who he was. Now, along that way, as she did less, then he did a little bit more. She did less. He did a little bit more. Then she did some, he did some. You see, it became a perfect dance, but it all came from her recreation of herself and recreation of him. And then she allowed it to happen. Also, along the way, I would tell her, like, you got to chill out. You got to relax. We need to get out of anxiety about this. What can you do? She in particular took up fishing, right? Interesting. I fished as a kid, haven't fished in a long time, but she took up fishing and it was very meditative, relaxing for her. She lived in an area where she could fish. So do something, you guys, that makes you get out of the over-analyzing, overthinking, anxious, worried, frenetic. That's all what you don't want. You want to force yourself to chill out, cool your jets, sort of. Get more relaxed about your person and relaxed about the relationship. You can force yourself and your nervous system to do that. It will be much easier to focus on the version of them, the version of you, and the whole relationship you want in reality. All right. Now, this does take, though, a lot of practice. Like I said, being consistent and diligent, no matter what you see in your reality, it's still like a very foreign concept for people. Most people that I speak to have spent years chatting to people that they know, talking about everything with their best friend, going over every guy that they date or every girl that they date, like, you know, a record player. Oh, he said this or she said that or he said this. You guys, we've done this. We've ping-ponged off each other. We've looked at things and thought things. Why wouldn't you? You came into your 3D experience and didn't know that you were creating it, or that where your thoughts go, your energy flows. Okay. So this takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of diligence, but you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. So stop telling yourself the story that you've been doing this for so long, it's taking too long, and it's not going to happen. Tell yourself instead, you're figuring it out. It's a lifelong trajectory of learning. This is a lifelong understanding of thought creation, reality creation, and what you came here to do was enjoy this human experience. You get to enjoy it and have fun. Okay. All right, you guys. So that's my video for today. I went over everything I had written down. And this essentially is how you flip realities, right? Remember that the reality that you're creating within is the reality that pushes out, that projects out there. And the sooner and quicker that you can stick to that reality, then the sooner and quicker that out there, it will flip and become that. That was the thing I had left out, is that if a lot of things begin to happen, like things happen. If you go through days of like where there's lots of like mini dramas going on, I would say hang tight, because you could also be shifting realities, flipping realities, going into and stepping into the timeline where you and he and you guys are together, and that you want to stay with it. Okay. It can be almost comical sometimes when you know this stuff and things begin to happen. And we want to say, oh, interesting. So many things are happening. So all news is good news. So this means things are really happening for me. Just don't get caught up on all the things happening. Like if, you know, something is breaking or some things break or you miss appointments or things get rescheduled. If you feel like, you know, I can't go upside down, but if you feel like you're upside down, hey, this means things are going on. And isn't that a way to look at it and start to look at all the things this way? So what you perceived as no movement, you could also perceive as tons of movement, right? The moment you decide there's tons of movement, then guess what? Your reality begins the momentum of tons of movement. Okay. But this takes a lot of practice. All right. That is what I had written down. And that is what the video is all about. Okay, you guys. Let's flip realities this way. Let's focus on reality creation this way, that it comes from you. Feel good. Make yourself a priority. Do things for you. Focus on you. And if you're feeling bad throughout the day, then you're thinking something. So get back to the basics and be like, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm thinking. I can't really catch the thought that began this feeling of feeling bad, but I'm going to get myself together and I'm going to focus on me for just 5 minutes. I'm going to do something where I get back into the momentum of the better feeling, focusing on what I want, and then do my affirmations from there. Then do my reality creation techniques from there. Then do everything from there. So much easier. Getting out of what you don't want by being in you, focusing on what you do want instead of don't want to want. This is difficult. thought flipping throughout the day. You don't need to do that. You've got to instead decide the story, stick to it, and come back to recalibrating yourself to stick to it. Okay. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Enjoy the summer wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.